Do you feel like you're carrying an invisible weight that never lets you truly rest? Like no matter how hard you try to move forward, something from the past keeps pulling you back, stealing your peace and your joy. In this video, you're going to discover why holding on hurts so much more than letting go, and how the act of releasing can be the most transformative change you'll make in your life. I understand this pain, and I know how difficult it is to release what's become so familiar, even when it's hurting you. You'll learn practical tools based on Louise Hay's teachings to finally free yourself from the emotional prisons you've created. And there's a special moment in the middle of this video where you can join our community of healing and transformation, anchoring this new energy of freedom in your heart. Stay with me until the end, because we're going to do a powerful release ritual together that can change everything for you. You deserve this lightness. You deserve this peace. Let's begin this journey back to yourself right now. Asterisk, asterisk, the backpack no one sees, asterisk, asterisk. Have you ever stopped to feel the weight you're carrying on your shoulders? I'm not talking about that physical tiredness from your daily routine, but that deep exhaustion that seems to live inside your chest. It's as if you're carrying an invisible backpack filled with hurts, resentments, regrets, and unmet expectations. Louise Hay always said that our unprocessed emotions become burdens we carry everywhere, and these burdens steal our vital energy, our joy, and our ability to live fully in the present. When you cling to the past, when you mentally relive that painful conversation, that betrayal, that loss, you're feeding a weight that only grows over time. This invisible weight doesn't show up on X-rays, but its effects are devastating. It manifests in your irritability for no apparent reason, in that constant tension in your body, in the nights when you can't turn off your mind. According to Louise Hay, every negative thought you keep alive inside you creates an emotional toxicity that affects not only your mind but also your physical body. You might be wondering why you feel so tired, why that back pain won't go away, why anxiety seems to be your constant companion. The answer might be precisely in what you refuse to let go of. In those old stories you keep retelling yourself as if they were your only truth. Think about Sarah, a 42-year-old woman who carried the hurt from a divorce that happened 8 years ago. She didn't realize it, but every time she met someone new, she brought with her all the anger and distrust from that past relationship. Her new connections were sabotaged before they even began, because the weight of the past was so heavy that there was no room for the new to flourish. Louise Hay teaches us that when we cling to old wounds, we're telling the universe that we prefer the known pain to the unknown possibility of healing and happiness. Sarah was trapped in a cycle of self-imposed suffering, and she didn't even recognize that she had the key to her own liberation. The liberating truth is this: you have the power to put that backpack down. I choose to release what no longer serves me. I deserve peace and lightness. This isn't just a pretty phrase. It's a declaration of self-love and a conscious decision to stop punishing yourself for things that have already happened. Louise Hay always emphasized that the moment of power is always in the now, not in the past you can't change or the future that doesn't exist yet. When you decide to let go, you're not denying your pain or pretending nothing happened. You're simply choosing not to allow that pain to continue defining who you are today. But here's what many people don't understand. Letting go doesn't happen all at once, like magic. It's a gentle and loving process of recognizing what you're carrying, honoring your journey, and day by day, choosing lightness instead of weight. Every time you notice a thought of resentment arising and consciously choose to replace it with compassion, you're lightening your load. Every time you take a deep breath and say, "I release this with love," you're taking a step toward your true peace. And that peace, dear one, isn't something you need to search for out there. It already exists within you, patiently waiting for you to remove the layers of pain that are covering it. Asterisk, asterisk, the hot coal you're holding. Asterisk, asterisk, there's a deeply rooted belief in many of us that if we let go of what hurt us, we're somehow allowing injustice to win. Have you ever felt this? That feeling that your resentment is a form of justice, that keeping anger alive is a way of not letting the person who hurt you get away with it. Louise Hay teaches us that this is one of the greatest illusions we hold, because in reality, when you hold resentment, the only person who continues to suffer is you. The person who hurt you might be living their life peacefully, while you relive the pain every day, poisoning your own well-being with toxic thoughts that corrode your inner peace. Think of it like holding a burning coal in your hand. The longer you hold it, the deeper the burn. You might even be holding it with the intention of throwing it at someone who hurt you. But meanwhile, it's your own skin that's being destroyed. According to Louise Hay, every moment you spend ruminating on old hurts is a moment when you're choosing pain instead of healing. Your body doesn't distinguish between a real threat happening now and a painful memory you're mentally reliving. It responds the same way, releasing stress hormones, tensing muscles, raising your blood pressure. You're literally making yourself sick over something that's already passed, but that you keep alive through your constant attention. Consider the story of Michael, a man who spent 15 years blaming his father for the difficult childhood he had. He carried that anger like a badge, as if it were part of his identity. But what Michael didn't realize is that by holding on to that hurt, he was repeating the same patterns of rigidity and emotional distance with his own children. Louise Hay always said that what we don't heal in ourselves, we end up perpetuating in our relationships. Michael was so busy holding on to the pain of the past that he couldn't be present to create loving memories in the present. He was paying an enormous price for a revenge that would never bring real satisfaction. The liberating truth that Louise Hay shared is that letting go isn't about the other person, it's about you. I release the past with love and choose to live fully in the present. I deserve peace and freedom. When you let go, you're not saying that what happened was right or acceptable. You're simply saying that you're no longer going to allow it to control your life, your mood, your health, and your happiness. You're reclaiming your personal power, which was all invested in keeping a story of pain alive. And that power, when redirected toward your healing and growth, is capable of completely transforming your life experience. Here's something profound for you to reflect on. Every minute you spend trapped in the past is a minute you're stealing from your future. Louise Hay reminds us that life is happening now, in this exact moment, and when your mind is occupied with old resentments, you miss the beauty and opportunities that are right in front of you. Letting go hurts at first because it feels like you're losing something, but in reality, you're gaining everything: your peace, your energy, your ability to love again, your freedom to create a life that truly brings you joy. What really hurts isn't the act of letting go, but the realization of how much time you spent voluntarily hurting yourself by holding on to something you should never have carried for so long. Now, before we continue, I want to invite you to something special. If this content is resonating with you, if you're feeling that click of recognition in your heart, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to receive more transformative teachings based on Louise Hay's wisdom. Leave a like if you're ready to begin the journey of releasing what no longer serves you. And share this video with someone you know needs to hear this message. In the comments, tell me, what's the hardest weight you're carrying right now? Your sharing might be exactly what someone else needs to read to feel less alone. We're building a community of healing and self-love here. and you're an essential part of it. Asterisk, asterisk, the illusion of safety, asterisk, asterisk, there's a very powerful illusion that most of us carry. The belief that if we control everything around us, we'll be safe. Do you recognize this in yourself? That need to plan every detail, to predict every outcome, to hold tightly to what you love, for fear it will escape. Louise Hay teaches us that this need for control is born from fear. And fear is always a manifestation of lack of trust in life and in yourself. When you grip too tightly, whether it's a relationship, a situation, an expectation, or even an old identity, you're not protecting yourself. You're actually creating rigidity where there should be fluidity, and that rigidity is what eventually breaks you. Think about the difference between a rigid tree and a flexible tree during a storm. The rigid tree, which refuses to bend, ends up breaking under the force of the wind, but the flexible tree, which dances with the storm, which allows its branches to move and adapt, that one survives and even grows stronger. According to Louise Hay, life is exactly like this. It's in constant movement, in constant change. And when you try to control and hold everything in place, you're fighting against the very nature of existence. You become that rigid tree, and life, with its infinite wisdom, eventually shows you that control is just a comforting illusion you created to deal with uncertainty. Look at the case of Jennifer, a brilliant executive who controlled every aspect of her professional and personal life with an iron fist. She had spreadsheets for everything, rigid schedules, clear expectations of how people should behave. But when her 10-year relationship ended unexpectedly, her whole world collapsed. Jennifer realized, painfully, that all that control hadn't protected her from anything. In fact, it had created a prison where neither she nor the people around her could breathe freely. Louise Hay always said that when we try to control others or circumstances, we're operating from a place of deep fear, and fear never creates genuine connections or lasting happiness. The liberating truth is that you're safer when you let go than when you grip. I trust the flow of life. I am safe in allowing things to be as they are. This affirmation might seem scary at first, especially if you've spent your whole life trying to control everything. But Louise Hay reminds us that there's a greater intelligence operating in the universe, a wisdom that goes beyond our limited understanding. When you release the need to control, you're not becoming passive or irresponsible. You're simply recognizing that there are things beyond your control, and that's okay. You're releasing the exhausting tension of trying to hold the ocean in your hands and instead learning to surf the waves. Here's something that can completely change your perspective. The act of letting go is actually the greatest act of personal power you can exercise. Sounds contradictory, doesn't it? But think about it. When you let go, you're saying, I trust myself to handle whatever comes. I don't need to control everything to be okay. You're recognizing your own resilience, your ability to adapt, to grow, to flourish, even when things don't go as planned. Louise Hay lived this truth deeply, and she taught us that true security doesn't come from controlling the external world, but from cultivating an unshakable trust in yourself and in the benevolence of life. And that trust, dear one, is something no one can take from you. Asterisk, asterisk, the hardest gift, asterisk, asterisk, when you hear the word forgiveness, what comes to your mind? For many people, forgiving seems like an impossible task, almost like it would be a betrayal of yourself. You might be thinking, how can I forgive someone who hurt me so much? Wouldn't that be like saying what happened was acceptable? Louise Hay teaches us that this is one of the greatest misunderstandings about forgiveness. Forgiving doesn't mean approving of what was done. It doesn't mean forgetting or pretending the pain didn't exist. Forgiveness is, in its purest essence, an act of radical self-love. It's you saying, I'm no longer going to allow this person or this situation to have power over my inner peace. I choose to free myself from this emotional prison. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, not the person who hurt you. Think about this for a moment. When you carry resentment, who's suffering? It's not the other person who wakes up every day with that knot in their stomach, with that anger boiling inside. It's you. According to Louise Hay, resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It sounds harsh, but that's exactly what we do when we refuse to forgive. We poison ourselves daily with toxic thoughts, reliving the pain, feeding the hurt, and all the while life passes and opportunities for joy and genuine connection slip through our fingers clenched in fists of anger. Let me tell you about David, a man who spent 20 years not speaking to his brother because of a family financial dispute. He carried that hurt like a trophy, as proof that he was right and his brother was wrong. But when his brother died unexpectedly, David was devastated not only by the loss, but by the crushing weight of regret. He realized he had wasted 2 decades of possible connection, of memories that could have been created, of love that could have been shared, all because of his wounded pride and his refusal to forgive. Louise Hay always said that forgiveness is urgent, because we never know how much time we have, and carrying grudges is one of the saddest ways to waste the precious time we're given. I forgive completely and set myself free. I am free and the other person is free. This affirmation, when repeated with sincerity and feeling, has the power to dissolve years of accumulated pain. Louise Hay teaches us that forgiveness is a process, not a single event. You might need to forgive the same person, the same situation, many times before the release is complete. And that's okay. Every time you choose forgiveness, you're removing another layer of pain. You're getting closer to your true essence, which is love. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's the most powerful force that exists, because it requires courage to let go of the victim narrative and take on the role of creator of your own peace. And here's something deeply transformative. Sometimes the hardest person to forgive is yourself. How many times do you punish yourself for past choices, for mistakes made, for missed opportunities? Louise Hay reminds us that you were doing the best you could with the level of consciousness and resources you had at that moment. You didn't know then what you know now. Forgiving yourself is recognizing your humanity, your learning journey, and choosing compassion instead of cruel self-criticism. When you forgive yourself, you free yourself to grow, to evolve, to become the most loving and authentic version of yourself. And that freedom, dear one, is the greatest gift you can give yourself. Soon, we're going to do a powerful practical exercise together that will help you begin to experience this transformation of letting go and forgiving. Stay with me, because this practice can change everything for you. Asterisk, asterisk, the invisible bars, asterisk, asterisk. Have you ever stopped to think about where your most automatic thoughts about yourself come from? Those inner voices that say, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve to be happy, people always disappoint me. Louise Hay dedicated her life to teaching us that these beliefs aren't absolute truths. They're learned patterns, usually from childhood, that have become so familiar that you don't even question their validity anymore. And here's the crucial point. These old beliefs, even if completely false, create the emotional prisons you live in today. They determine what you believe is possible for you, who you allow into your life, and how much love, success, and happiness you allow yourself to experience. These beliefs function like lenses through which you see the world. If you carry the belief that I'm always abandoned, you'll unconsciously create situations that confirm that belief. You might distance yourself from people before they distance themselves from you, or you might choose emotionally unavailable partners who will inevitably leave you. According to Louise Hay, it's not that the universe is conspiring against you. It's that you're operating from old programming that continues creating the same painful results. You're trapped in a cycle of self-fulfilling prophecies, where your beliefs create your reality, and your reality reinforces your beliefs. It's an invisible prison, but very real. Think about Rachel, a talented woman who always sabotaged her professional opportunities just when she was about to achieve success. She didn't understand why this happened until she began exploring her deepest beliefs. Rachel discovered that as a child, she had internalized the message that people like us don't make it to the top. That belief, planted decades ago, was controlling her adult life in ways she didn't even realize. Louise Hay always emphasized that our beliefs about ourselves were formed when we were vulnerable children, accepting as absolute truth everything we were told or what we concluded from our experiences. But you're no longer that child, and you have the power to question and rewrite those beliefs now. Liberation begins when you bring these beliefs into the light of consciousness. I release all old beliefs that no longer serve me. I choose to create new beliefs that support and elevate me. Louise Hay teaches us that you can literally reprogram your mind through conscious and repeated affirmations. Every time you catch a limiting thought and consciously replace it with a loving affirmation, you're creating new neural pathways, new possibilities, a new reality. It's not instant magic, but it's real and lasting transformation. You're freeing yourself from the invisible bars that have kept you small, scared, and limited for so long. Here's something that can revolutionize your life. You don't need to completely believe the new affirmations at first. Louise Hay knew this and encouraged us to repeat the affirmations even when our rational mind protested, saying this isn't true. With time and loving repetition, these new beliefs begin to take root, and you begin to notice subtle changes in how you feel, in the choices you make, in the opportunities that appear. You're literally rebuilding the foundation of your life, brick by brick, thought by thought, and every limiting belief you release is more space created for your true essence, powerful and loving, to finally flourish without restrictions. Asterisk, asterisk. When loving means letting go, asterisk, asterisk, one of the most difficult acts of letting go involves relationships that have somehow become toxic to your well-being. Maybe it's a friend who constantly drains your energy, a partner who doesn't value you, or even a family member whose behavior repeatedly hurts you. You might feel guilty just thinking about creating distance, as if letting go were an act of cruelty or selfishness. Louise Hay teaches us that this guilt is another trap that keeps us stuck in harmful dynamics. The truth is that you have not only the right but the sacred responsibility to protect your inner peace and emotional well-being. Releasing a toxic relationship isn't a lack of love. It's actually a profound act of self-love. Toxic relationships function like poisonous plants in the garden of your life. They might even have beautiful flowers on the surface, but their roots are poisoning the soil, preventing other healthy things from growing. According to Louise Hay, every relationship in your life should elevate you, support you, and allow you to be authentically yourself. When a relationship consistently makes you feel small, inadequate, exhausted, or anxious, that's a clear sign that something needs to change. You're not here to sacrifice yourself on the altar of other people's comfort. You're here to live fully, to shine, to experience genuine love and connections that nourish your soul, not drain it. Consider the story of Maria, who maintained a 20-year friendship with someone who constantly criticized her and diminished her achievements. Maria justified it by saying, "But we have history together. as if the time invested was reason enough to continue subjecting herself to disrespectful treatment. When she finally found the courage to create healthy boundaries and eventually distance herself, Maria felt a lightness she hadn't experienced in years. Louise Hay always reminded us that loyalty to other people should never come at the cost of disloyalty to yourself. You don't owe your life, your peace, or your mental health to anyone, no matter how long that person has been present in your journey. I release relationships that don't honor me. I deserve love, respect, and reciprocity. This affirmation is a powerful reminder that you set the standard for how you allow yourself to be treated. Louise Hay teaches us that people can only treat you in ways you allow, consciously or unconsciously. When you release toxic relationships, you're sending a clear message to the universe and to yourself. I value myself. I know I deserve better. And something magical happens when you create that space. Healthier, more loving relationships, more aligned with who you really are, begin to appear naturally in your life. And here's the part many people don't understand. You can let someone go with love. Letting go doesn't have to be an act of anger or bitterness. You can recognize that that person was part of your journey, maybe even taught you valuable lessons about what you no longer want to accept, and still choose to go separate ways. Louise Hay showed us that it's possible to say, I wish you well, but I can no longer have you in my life this way, and do it from a place of peace, not war. You don't need the other person's approval or understanding to honor your own needs. Your inner peace is non-negotiable, and the sooner you accept that, the faster you'll begin building a life surrounded by people who truly see you, value you, and celebrate you. Asterisk, asterisk, courage or quitting. Asterisk, asterisk, there's a very common confusion that prevents many people from letting go of what's hurting them. The belief that letting go is the same as giving up, that it's a sign of weakness or failure. Have you ever felt this? That inner voice that says, if I let go, I'm admitting defeat, or strong people don't quit. Louise Hay teaches us that this is a dangerous distortion that keeps you trapped in situations, relationships, and patterns that no longer serve your growth. Letting go isn't giving up on something valuable. It's having the wisdom and courage to recognize when something has become an obstacle instead of a path. It's choosing you, your health, your peace, and your future, instead of stubbornly clinging to something that's drowning you. Think about the difference between wise persistence and self-destructive stubbornness. Persistence is continuing when something is challenging but still aligned with your greater good. Stubbornness is continuing only because you've already invested so much time, energy, or emotion that you feel obligated to continue, even when every cell in your body is screaming that it's time to stop. According to Louise Hay, your body always knows the truth before your rational mind accepts it. That deep exhaustion, that feeling of constantly swimming against the current, that emptiness that no amount of effort seems to fill. These are signs that you're holding on to something that needs to be released. Letting go, in these cases, isn't weakness. It's the highest form of strength and self-awareness. Look at the case of Thomas, a businessman who spent 5 years trying to save a business that clearly wasn't working. He invested all his savings, sacrificed time with his family, compromised his health, all because he believed that quitting would be admitting failure. When he finally had the courage to close the business and move forward, Thomas discovered something surprising. He hadn't failed, he had learned. Louise Hay always reminded us that there are no failures, only experiences and lessons. Thomas used everything he learned to create a new venture that flourished because it was aligned with who he had become through that journey. He didn't give up, he evolved. I have the courage to let go of what isn't working. I choose my well-being above all else. This affirmation is a revolutionary act of self-love in a culture that glorifies suffering and blind persistence. Louise Hay teaches us that choosing yourself isn't selfishness, it's spiritual responsibility. You can't serve the world, love fully, or fulfill your purpose when you're exhausted, trapped in toxic situations, or clinging to old versions of yourself that no longer exist. When you let go, you're saying yes to new possibilities, to growth, to the most authentic and powerful version of who you can be. Here's a liberating truth that can change everything. Letting go is a way of honoring everything you invested, not wasting it. Every experience, even those that didn't work out the way you expected, shaped you, taught you, strengthened you in ways you might not even fully understand yet. Louise Hay lived this truth deeply, transforming her own painful experiences into wisdom that healed millions of people around the world. When you let go with gratitude for what was and hope for what will come, you're integrating the lessons and releasing the weight. You're choosing to be the heroine of your own story, not the victim of circumstances. And that choice, made repeatedly with love and consciousness, is what transforms your life from survival into true emotional and spiritual prosperity. Asterisk, asterisk, the emptiness that transforms, asterisk, asterisk. There's something deeply magical that happens when you finally let go of what was taking up so much space in your life and in your heart. At first, it might seem scary, even empty. You might feel that strange sensation of now what? After releasing a relationship, a limiting belief, or an old pattern. Louise Hay teaches us that this emptiness isn't something to be feared. It's actually a sacred space of infinite possibilities. It's like cleaning out a closet full of old clothes that no longer fit. The moment you remove all that, there's space for the new, for what truly reflects who you are now and who you're becoming. Nature abhors a vacuum, and the universe works the same way. When you create conscious space in your life by letting go of what no longer serves you, that space doesn't remain empty for long. According to Louise Hay, the universe is constantly conspiring in your favor, waiting for you to open yourself to receive the blessings that are already destined for you. But while your hands are full, holding old hurts, toxic relationships, and limiting beliefs, there's no space to receive the new. It's like trying to fill a cup that's already overflowing with dirty water. You first need to empty it so that clean, fresh water can enter. Think about Lisa, a woman who spent years in a job that made her miserable but offered financial security. She was afraid to leave because she didn't know what would come next. When she finally gathered the courage to resign, there were a few weeks of uncertainty that frightened her deeply, but Lisa used that time not to panic, but to reconnect with herself, to rediscover her passions, and to visualize the kind of work that would truly make her happy. Louise Hay always said that these transition periods, though uncomfortable, are portals of transformation. Within 2 months, Lisa found an opportunity that not only paid better but aligned perfectly with her values and talents. The new could only enter because she had the courage to create the space. I trust the sacred emptiness. I know the universe is preparing something wonderful for me. This affirmation is a powerful antidote to the fear that arises when you let go of something familiar, even if painful. Louise Hay reminds us that fear of the unknown is natural, but it doesn't have to paralyze you. You can acknowledge the fear and still choose to trust. You can feel the uncertainty and still remain open to possibilities. This empty space you've created is actually a womb of creation, where miracles are being gestated, where your new life is taking shape in ways your limited mind can't even imagine yet. And here's the secret that transforms everything. You don't need to know exactly what comes next to let go of what's hurting you now. Many people stay stuck because they want guarantees. They want to see the next step clearly before taking the first one. But Louise Hay teaches us that life doesn't work that way. Life requires faith. It requires that you take the step even without seeing the whole staircase. When you let go with confidence, when you honor the empty space as a sacred place of pure potential, you're collaborating with the creative forces of the universe. You're saying, I'm ready for the new, I'm open to receive. I trust that something better is on its way. And that energy of openness and trust is exactly what attracts the experiences, people, and opportunities that are aligned with the highest version of who you are. The emptiness isn't the end. It's the glorious beginning of everything you've always deserved. Asterisk, asterisk, your freedom ritual. Asterisk, asterisk, now that you've deeply understood the transformative power of letting go, it's time to experience this tangibly. This exercise combines Louise Hay's wisdom with the ancestral practice of release through writing and the element of fire, creating a sacred ritual of transformation. You'll need paper and pen, a safe outdoor location, or a fireproof bowl, matches or lighter, a moment of privacy and silence. How to do it. Step 1. Preparing the sacred space. 3 minutes. Find a quiet place where you won't be interrupted. Breathe deeply 3 times, placing one hand on your heart. Say out loud or mentally, I am ready to release. I deserve peace and lightness. Feel your body relax and your mind quiet. Step 2. The release letter. 101. 5 minutes. Take the paper and begin writing everything you're ready to let go of. Don't censor. Don't judge, just allow it to flow. Write about the hurts, the resentments, the limiting beliefs, the toxic relationships, the fears, the unmet expectations. Write as if you're talking to a dear friend who's finally ready to hear the whole truth. Let the tears flow if they come. They're part of the healing. Louise Hay always taught us that acknowledging the pain is the first step to releasing it. Step 3. The Forgiveness Declaration. 5 minutes. When you finish writing everything, read aloud what you wrote. Then, at the end of the letter, write, I completely forgive all the people and situations mentioned here. I forgive myself for carrying this for so long. I release all of this with love and gratitude for the lessons learned. I am free and at peace. Sign your name as a sacred commitment to yourself. Step 4. The fire ritual. 5 minutes, in a safe location. Burn the paper. As you watch the flames consuming your words, visualize all that pain, all that heavy energy being transmuted into light. Imagine that the smoke is carrying all of that away from you, releasing you completely. Breathe deeply and feel the lightness beginning to fill the space that was once occupied by so much weight. Say, it is done. I am free. Step 5. Anchoring the new. 5 minutes. After the ashes cool, wash your hands with water, symbolizing complete cleansing. Place both hands on your heart and repeat 3 times. I am free. I am light. I am open to receive all the good that life has for me. I deserve love, peace, and happiness. Feel these words reverberating in every cell of your body. Daily commitment for the next 21 days. Every morning when you wake up, repeat, I choose to release what doesn't serve me. I choose peace. Louise Hay taught us that 21 days is the time needed to begin creating a new mental pattern. Be gentle and patient with yourself in this process. This exercise is powerful because it involves your body, your mind, and your spirit in the act of letting go. You can repeat it whenever you feel you're carrying too much weight. Remember, letting go is an act of self-love, and you deserve this freedom. Asterisk, asterisk, your new journey begins. Asterisk, asterisk, dear one, you've made it this far, and that in itself is already an act of courage and self-love. Letting go isn't something that happens all at once. It's a daily practice, a gentle commitment to yourself to choose peace instead of weight, freedom instead of prison. Remember that every small step you take toward release is a victory. Every moment you choose forgiveness instead of resentment is a transformation happening. Louise Hay taught us that we are always worthy of love, peace, and happiness, and that the path to these blessings begins when we decide to let go of what keeps us small and trapped. Be gentle with yourself on this journey. Celebrate every release, no matter how small it seems, and know that by choosing to let go, you're opening the doors to a lighter, more loving life, infinitely more aligned with who you truly are. You deserve this freedom. You always have.